तस्य श्रीगुरुगीतास्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य भगवान् सदा शिवऋषि नानाविधानि छन्दांसि श्रीगुरु परमात्मा देवता बीजं स शक्तिक्रोकिलकम् श्रीगुरु प्रसार सिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगा आता ज्ञानम् हंसाभ्यां परिवृत्तपत्रकमले दिव्ये जगत्कारणे विश्वोत्तीर्णमणि गदे अनिलये स्वच्छन्दमात्मे छयाम् तद्योदं वरदां भवन्तु चरणं दीपाङ्कुरग्राहिणां प्रत्यक्षाक्षरविग्रहं गुरुपरं ध्याये विभुं शाश्वतम् श्रुता उवाच कैलासशिखरे रम्ये भक्तिसन्धाननायकम् प्रणम्य पार्वती भक्त्या शङ्करं पायपृच्छति श्रीदेवी उवाच ॐ नमो देवदेवेश हरपर जगद्गुरो सदाशिव महादेव गुरुदीक्षां प्रदेहि मे तेन मार्गेण भो स्वामी देहि ब्रह्ममयो भवेत् त्वं कृपां कुरु मे स्वामी नमामि चरणौ तव ईश्वर उवाच मम रूपासि देवी त्वं त्वत्प्रीत्यर्थं वदाम्यहं लोकोपकारक प्रश्नो न केनापि कृता पुरा दुर्लभन्त्रेषु लोकेषु तत्कुरुष्व वदाम्यहं गुरुविना ब्रह्मणान्यात् सत्यं सत्यं वरानने वेदशास्त्रपुराणानि इतिहासादिकानि च मन्त्रयन्त्रादिविद्याश्च श्रुतिरुच्चाटनारिकाम् शैवशाक्तागमादीनि अन्यानि विविधानि च अपभ्रंशकराणि जीवनं भ्रान्तते च साम् यज्ञो व्रतं तपोदानं जपस्तीर्थं च तेव च गुरुतपमविज्ञाय पुरस्ते चरते जनाः गुरुबुद्ध्यात्मनोऽन्यत् सत्यं सत्यं न संशयः तल्लवर्तं प्रयनस्तु कर्तव्यो हि मनीषिभिः गुरुविद्या जगन्माया देहे च ज्ञानसम्भवः उदयो यत् प्रकाशेन गुरुशब्देन कथ्यते सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा श्रीगुरुपादसेवनात् देहि ब्रह्मा भवेद्यस्मात् त्वत्कृपार्थं भजामि ते गुरुपादाम्बुजं श्रुत्वा जलं शिरासि धारयेत् सर्वतीर्थावगास्य सम्प्राप्नोति फलं नरः शोषणं पापपङ्कस्य दीपनं ज्ञानतेजसां गुरुपारोरकं सम्यक् संसारानवतारकाम् अज्ञानमूलारणं जन्मकर्मनिवारणं ज्ञानवैराग्यसिद्ध्यर्थं गुरुपारोरकं पिबेत् गुरुपारोरकं पीत्वा गुरुरुचिष्टभोजनं गुरुमूर्ते सराध्यानं गुरुमन्त्रं सरा जपेत् आशिषेष्टं तानिवासो जनविचरणोरकम् गुरु विश्वेश्वरा साक्षात् कारकं ब्रह्म निश्चितम् गुरु पारोरकं यातु गायसोक्षयोवतः तीर्थराजा प्रयागश्च गुरुमूर्त्यै नमो नमः गुरुमूर्तिं स्मरे नित्यं गुरुनामासराजपे गुरुराज्यं प्रकुर्वीता गुरुरन्यान् भावये गुरुवाक्त्रस्थितं ब्रह्म प्राप्यते तात्प्रसारतः गुरुज्ञानं सदा कुर्यात् तुलसी स्वापतिर्यथा स्वाश्रमं च स्वजन्तीं च स्वर्गिति पुष्टिवर्धनम् एतत् सर्वं परित्याज्य गुरुरन्यान् भावये अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां सुलभं परमं पदम् तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन गुरुराराधनं कुरु त्रैलोके स्फुटवक्तारो देवद्यसुरपन्नगा गुरुवक्त्रस्थिता विद्या गुरुभक्त्या सुलभ्यते ऋकारस्त्वन्धकारश्च ऋकारस्तेज उच्यते अज्ञानग्रासकं ब्रह्म गुरुरेव न संशयः ऋकार प्रथमो वर्णः मायति गुणभासकः ऋकारो द्वितीयो ब्रह्म मायाभ्रान्ति विनाशनम् एवं गुरु परं श्रेष्ठं देवानामपि दुर्लभम् गणेशेव गन्धर्वैश्च प्रपूज्यते ध्रुवं तेषां च सर्वेषां नास्ति तत्त्वं गुरु परम् आसनं शयनं वस्त्रं भूषणं वा नारिकाम् साधकेन प्रदातव्यं गुरुसन्तोषकारकम् गुरुराराधनं कार्यं स्वजीवित्वं निवेदये कर्मणा मनसा वाचा नित्यमाराधयेत् गुरुं दीर्घदण्डं नमस्कृत्य निर्लज्जो गुरुसान्निधौ शरीरमिन्द्रियं प्राणान् सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदये आत्मधारादिकं सर्वं सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदये तुमिकितभस्मविष्टा दुर्गन्धिमलमूत्रकं श्लेष्मरक्तं त्वचामांसं पञ्चयेन वरानने संसारवृक्षमारुता अन्ततो नारकर्णवे येन चैवोदुपा सर्वे तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः एतवे जगतामेव संसारनावसेतवे प्रभवे सर्वविद्यानां सम्भवे गुरवे नमः अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानजनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः त्वं पिता त्वं च मे माता त्वं बन्धुश्चं च रेवता संसारप्रतिघोरार्थं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यत्सत्येन जगत्सत्यं यत्प्रकाशेन भाति चात् यदनन्देन नन्दन्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य स्थित्या सत्यमिदं यद्भवति भानुरूपतः प्रियं ब्रह्मपुत्रार्याकृत्या तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। येन चेतयते इदं चित्तं चेतायते नयं जाग्रत्स्वप्नशशप्यारि तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्य ज्ञानारिणं विश्वं नादृशं वीरभैरचा सरेकरूपरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्य मातं तस्य मातं मातं यस्यानवेदसः अनन्यभावभावाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्य कारणरूपस्य कार्यरूपेण भाति कार्यकारणरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नानरूपमिदं सर्वं न केनाप्यसिद्धेन च कार्यकारणता चैव तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यदङ्घ्रिकमलद्वन्द्वं द्वन्द्वतापनिवारकं तारकं सगरापभ्यात् श्रीगुरुं प्रणमम्यहम्। शिवे कृते गुरुश्राता गुरुकृते शिवो नहि तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे। वन्दे गुरुपरद्वन्द्वं मनश्चित्तगोचरं श्वेतरक्तप्रभावीनां शिवशक्त्यात्मकं परम्। करं च गुणातीतं रूपरं रूपवर्जितं गुणातीतस्वरूपं च यो दद्यात् स गुरुस्मृता। त्रिनेत्र सर्वसाक्षी चतुर्बाहुरच्युतः चतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मा श्रीगुरुकातिथा प्रिये। अयमयांजलिर्बाधो दायसागारवृद्धये यदनुग्रतो जन्तुश्चित्रसंसारमुक्तिवान्। श्रीगुरो परमं रूपं विवेकचक्षुषोमृतं मन्दभाग्यान् पश्यन्ति मन्दसूर्योदयं यथा। श्रीनाथचरणद्वन्द्वं यस्यां दिशि विराजते तस्यै दिशि नमस्कुर्यात् भक्त्या प्रतिदिनं प्रिये। तस्यै दिशि सततमञ्जलिरे सहार्ये प्रक्षिप्यते मुखरितो मधुपैर्बुधैश्च जगर्ति यत्र भगवन् गुरुचक्रवर्ती विश्वोदय प्रलयना तत् नित्यसाक्षी। श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धोगं भक्तत्रयं परयुगं तुते नमः मण्डलम्। धीरान्वश्चतुष्षष्टिनवकं वीरावली पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरुर्मण्डलम्। आद्यस्ते सकले सुचित्तमनिले व्याधिप्रदे दुष्करे नारायमशतेरणे प्रकरणे दुःखमखे दुर्जये। यस्मिन्नाभ्युदिते विनाश्यति बले वायु स्वयं तत्क्षणात् प्राप्तुं तत्सहजं स्वभावमनिशां सेवाद्वमेकं गुरुम्। स्वदेशिकसेव शरीरचिन्तनं भवेदनता शिवस्य चिन्तनं स्वदेशिकसेवचनामकीर्तनं भवेदनता शिवस्य कीर्तनं यः पररेणुकणिका कापि संसारवारिधे सेतुबन्धायते नाथं देशिकं तमुपास्महे यस्मादनुग्रहं लब्ध्वा आहार्यानमुत्सृजे तस्मै श्रीदेशिकेन्द्राय नमः शाभीष्टसिद्धये आरब्धं संसार दावनलविनाशकं ब्रह्मरन्ध्रे सितं भुजा मध्यस्थं चन्द्रमण्डले आकतारि त्रिरेकाब्जे सहस्रदलमण्डले हंसपर्श्वचिकोणे च स्मरे तन्मध्यगं गुरुम् सकलभुवनसृष्टि कल्पितशेषपुष्टिर् निखिलनिगमदृष्टिं सम्परं व्यर्थदृष्टिम् अवगुणपरिमर्ष्टिः तत्परचेकदृष्टिर् अवगुणपरमेष्टिर् मोक्षमार्गेकदृष्टिः सकलभुवनरङ्गा स्थापनस्तम्भयास्ति सकरुणसर्ववृष्टिः तत्त्वमालासमस्ति सकलसमयसृष्टिः सच्चिदानन्ददृष्टिर् निवसतु मयि नित्यं श्रीगुरो दिव्यदृष्टिः अग्निशुद्धसमं तत् ज्वालपरिचकार्या मन्त्रराजमिमं मन्ये मणिसम्पातं मृत्युचा तरे जति तने जति तद्धुरे तात्समीपके तरन्तरस्य सर्वस्य सर्वस्य दायका अजोऽहमजरोऽहं च आनधिनिधन स्वयम् अविकारशिरानन्द अनियन्माचो मान् अपूर्वानं परं नित्यं स्वयं ज्योतिर्निरामयम् वीरजं परमाकाशं ध्रुवमानन्दमव्ययम् प्रत्यक्षमेतीय मानुमानश्चतुष्टयं यस्य चात्मातपो वेद देशिकं च सरस्मरे मननं यद्भवं कार्यं तद्वरामि मामथे सारुत्वं च मया दृष्ट्वा त्वयि तिष्ठति सम्प्रचाम् अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्परं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्ना विराजितापरं भुजा निरङ्गम्बुजसूर्यो तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण ज्ञानमुपाद्यते स्वयं या एव सर्वसम्प्राप्तिः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः चैतन्यं शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नारबिन्दुकलातीतं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः सागरं जगमं चैव तथा चैवाचराचरं व्याप्तं येन जगत्सर्वं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ज्ञानशक्तिसमारुद्धस्तद्वमलविभूषितः मुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाताय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त सर्वकर्मविदायिने स्वात्मज्ञानप्रभावेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। न गुरोररिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोररिकं च परं तत्त्वं येन परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मनता श्रीजगन्नाथ मद्गुरु श्रीजगद्गुरु भूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानमूलं गुरुमूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुपरं मन्त्रमूलं गुरुवाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा। गुरुरादिरनादीश गुरुपरं देवतां गुरुपरतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सप्तसागरपर्यन्तं तीर्थस्नानादिकं फलं गुरुरङ्घ्रिपयो बिन्दु सहस्रांशेन दुर्लभम्। अरुरुष्टे गुरुश्राद्ध गुरुरुषेण काश्चन तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे। गुरुरेव जगत् सर्वं ब्रह्म विष्णु शिवात्मकं गुरुपरतरं नास्ति तस्मात् सम्पूजयेत् गुरुम्। ज्ञानविज्ञानसहितं लभ्यते गुरुभक्तिः गुरुपरतरं नास्ति एयोऽसौ गुरुमार्गिणी। यस्मात् परतरं नास्ति नेति नेतीति वै श्रुतिः मनसा वचसा चैव नित्यमाराधयेत् गुरुम्। गुरुकृपा प्रसादेन ब्रह्म विष्णु सदाशिवः समर्था प्रभवादौ च केवलं गुरुसेवया। देवकिन्नरगन्धर्व पितरो यक्षचारणाः मुनयोऽपि न जानन्ति गुरुशुश्रूषणे विधिम्। महाअहङ्कारगर्वेण तापविद्यावलम्बिता संसारकुहरावर्ते दत्तयन्त्रे यथा गता। नामुकादेवगन्धर्व पितरो यक्षकिन्नरः ऋषय सर्वसिद्धाश्च गुरुसेवा परं मुखाः। ज्ञानं शृणु महादेवी सर्वानन्दप्रदायकं सर्वसौख्यकरं नित्यं मुक्तिमुक्तिविदायकम्। श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं स्मरामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं वरामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं नमामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं भजामि। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं मन्वातीतं गगनसदृशं पद्ममस्यारिलाक्षम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदि साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासं निराकारं निरञ्जनं नित्यघोरं चिदानन्दं गुरुब्रह्मानमम्यहम्। हृदम्बुजे कणिकमाद्य संस्थे सीमासने चित्यदिव्यमूर्तिं ध्यायेत् गुरुं चन्द्रकलाप्रकाशं चित्पुस्तकाभिः सवरं ददानं श्वेताम्बरं श्वेतविलेपपुष्पं मुक्ताविभूषं मुदितं त्रिनेत्रं वामाङ्कपिता चित्यदिव्यशक्तिं मन्दास्मितं सान्द्रकृपानिरानं आनन्दमानन्दकरं प्रसन्नं ज्ञानस्वरूपं निजपौरयुक्तं योगीन्द्रमिद्यां वावरोगवेद्यां श्रीमद्गुरुं नित्यमां नमामि यस्मिन् सुशीतिध्वंसा निग्रहानुग्रामकं कृत्यं पञ्चवीरं शाश्वत वासते तं नमम्यहम् प्रातःशिरशिशुक्लाब्धे विनीतं द्विभुजं गुरुं वरभययुतं शान्तं स्मरेतं नाम पूर्वकम् न गुरोररिकं न गुरोररिकं न गुरोररिकं न गुरोररिकं शिवशासनता 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 चिरमेव शिवं चिरमेव शिवं चिरमेव शिवं चिरमेव शिवं मम शासनतो मम शासनतो मम शासनतो मम शासनता एवं विरं गुरुं यात्वा ज्ञानमुपाद्यते स्वयं तत्सद्गुरुप्रसादेन मुक्तवामिति भावये गुरुदर्शितमार्गेण मनःशुद्धिं तु कारये अनित्यं खण्डये सर्वं यत्किञ्चिन्तामगोचरम् एयं सर्वस्वरूपं च ज्ञानं च मान उच्यते ज्ञानमेया समं कुर्यात् नन्यपन्था द्वितीयका एवं श्रुत्वा महादेवी गुरुनिन्दं करोति यः स यति नरकं घोरं प्रवचन्द्रदिवाकरो यावकल्पान्तको देहस्तावदेव गुरुं स्मरे गुरुलोपो न कर्तव्यः स्वच्छन्दो यदि भाववे ओङ्कारेण न वक्तव्यं यज्ञशीशे कथञ्चन गुरुराग्रेण वक्तव्यम् असत्यं च कराचना गुरुं त्वां कृत्यं कृत्य अरण्ये निर्जले देशे सा भवेत् ब्रह्मराक्षसा मुनिपिपनगिर्वापि सुरवा शापितो यरि कालं मृत्युभयाद्वापि गुरुरक्षति पार्वती आशक्ता हि सुराद्याश्च आशक्ता मुनयस्थिताः गुरुशापेन ते शीघ्रं सायं यान्ति न संशयात् मन्त्रराजमिदं देवी गुरुरित्यक्षरद्वयं स्मृतिवेदार्थवाक्येन गुरुसाक्षात् परम्पराम् स्मृति अविज्ञाय केवलं गुरुसेवका सेवे सन्न्यासिना प्रोक्ता इतरे वेषधारिणा नित्यं ब्रह्म निराकारं निर्गुणं बोधये परं सर्वं ब्रह्म निराभासं दीपो दीपान्तरं यथा गुरो कृपा प्रसादेन अमरमं निरीक्षये अनेन गुरुमार्गेण स्वात्मज्ञानं प्रवर्तते आभ्रमस्तवपर्यन्तं परमस्वरूपकं स्थावरं जगमं चैव प्रणमामि जगन्मयम् वन्देऽहं सच्चिदानन्दं वेरतीतं सद्गुरुं नित्यं पूर्णं निराकारं निर्गुणं स्वात्मसंस्थितम् परतरं ध्येयं नित्यमानन्दकारकं हृदयाकाशमध्यस्थं सरस्वतीकसानिभं स्फटिकाप्रतिमारूपं दृश्यते दर्पणे यथा तथा मणिचिराकारम् आनन्दं सोऽमित्युता अङ्गुष्ठमन्त्रपुरुषं दायतश्चिन्मयं हृदि तत्र स्फुरति भावो यः शृणुतं कथयं यम् अगोचरं च चागम्यं नामरूपाविवर्जितं निःशब्दं च विजानीयात् स्वभवं ब्रह्म पार्वती यत गन्धस्वभावेन कर्पूरकुसुमादिषु शीतोष्णादि स्वभावेन तथा ब्रह्म च शाश्वतम् स्वयं तत्त्वविदो भूत्वा स्थातव्यं यत्र कुत्रचित् चित्तब्रह्मरवतत्र ज्ञानं भवति तदृशम् गुरुज्ञानं तथा कृत्वा स्वयं ब्रह्ममयो भवेत् पिण्डे काले तथा रूपे मुक्तो नात्र संशयः श्रीपार्वती उवाच पिण्डं कुण्डलमहादेव परं किं समुदाहृतं रूपातीतं च रूपं किम् एतदध्यायि शङ्करा श्रीमहादेव उवाच पिण्डं कुण्डलिनी शक्तिं परमं समुदाहृतं रूपं बिन्दुरिति ज्ञेयं रूपदीप्तं निरञ्जनम् रूपे मुक्तावरानने रूपचिते ये मुक्तास्ते मुक्ता नात्र संशयः स्वयं सर्वमयो भूत्वा परं तवं विलोकये परतरं नान्यत् सर्वमेतं निरालयम् तस्य वालोकनं प्राप्य सर्वसङ्गविवर्जितः एकाकी निष्क्रियः शान्तः तिष्ठते प्रसादतः लादं वा धनलादं वा स्वभावबहुलं तथा निष्कामेनैव भोक्तव्यं सदा सन्तुष्टते च सा सर्वज्ञ परमित्याहुः देहि सर्वं मयो बुधः शरणं दशरशन्तो रामते यत्र कुत्रचित् यत्रैवातिष्ठते सोऽपि सादेश पुण्यभाजनां मुक्तस्य लक्षणं देवी तव गृहीतचितं मया उपदेशस्तथा देवी गुरुमार्गेण मुक्तिरा गुरुभक्ति सता ध्यानात् सकलं चावकीर्तिताम् अनेनाय भवे कार्यं तव वरमिमामथे लोकोपकारकं देवी लौकिकं तु न भावये लौकिका कर्मणो यान्ति ज्ञानहीनाववर्णवां ज्ञानि तु भावये सर्वं कर्मनिष्कर्म यत्कृतम् इदं तु भक्तिभावेन आदते शृणुते हरिः इति वाचा प्रदातव्यं तत्सर्वं सफलं भवेत् गुरुगीतामकं देवी सुगतभं मयूरिचं भावव्याधिविनाशार्थं स्वयमेव जपे सदा गुरुगीताक्षरेकं च मन्त्ररजामिमं जपे अन्ये च विविधा मन्त्रा फलानान्ति षोडशीम् अनन्तफलमप्नोति गुरुगीता जपेन च सर्वपापप्रशमनं सर्वदारिद्र्यनाशनम् कालमृत्युभयाहरम् सर्वसङ्कटनाशनम् रक्ष रक्ष भूतानां चोरव्याघ्रभयापहम् महाव्याधिहरं सर्वं विभूतिसिद्धिदं भवेत् आतवामोहनं वश्यं स्वयमेव जपेत् सदा अष्टसाने च दारिद्र्यं पाशने रोगसम्भवः मेदिन्यां दुःखमाप्नोति अष्टे भवति निष्फलम् कृष्णजिने ज्ञानसिद्धिः मोक्षसिद्ध्याग्रचर्मणि कुशसने ज्ञानसिद्धिः सर्वसिद्धिषु कम्बले कुशे वा दुर्वया देवी आसने शुभ्रकम्बले उपाविश्य ततो देवी जपेते ग्राहकमानसा एयं शुक्लं च शन्यर्थं वाशिरक्तासनं प्रिये अभिचारे कृष्णवर्णं पीतवर्णं दरागमे उत्तरे शान्तिकमस्तु वाशे पूर्वामुखो जपे दक्षिणे मारणं प्रोक्तं पश्चिमे च धनागमम् मोहनं सर्वभूतानां बन्धमोक्षकरं भवेत् देवराजा प्रियकरं सर्वलोकवशं भवेत् सर्वेषां स्तम्भनकरं दुरनं च विवर्धनं दुष्कर्मनाशनं चैव सुकर्मसिद्धिदं भवेत् असिद्धं सदये कार्यं नवग्रहभयापहम् दुःस्वप्ननाशनं चैव सुस्वप्नफलदायकम् सर्वशान्तिकरं नित्यं तथावन्यासपूजनम् अवेदव्यं करं श्रीणां सौभाग्यदायकं सदा आयुरारोग्यमेश्वर्यं पुत्रपौत्रवर्धनम् अकामाता श्रीविरव जपमोक्षमवाप्नुयात् अवेदव्यं सकामात् प्राप्ते चान्यजन्मनि सर्वदुःखं भयं विघ्नम् आश्रये च पारकम् सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं धर्मतः काममोक्षदम् यं यं चिन्तयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोति निश्चितम् कामितस्य कामधेनु कल्पना कल्पपारपा चिन्तामणिश्चिन्तितस्य सर्वमङ्गलकारकम् मोक्षहेतुर्जपे नित्यं मोक्षश्रेयमवाप्नुयात् भोगकामो जपे योगे तस्य कामफलप्रदम् जपे चातससोरश्च गणपत्यश्च वैष्णवाम् शैवाश्च सिरिदं देवी सत्यं सत्यं न संशयात् आतकाम्य जपे स्थानं कर्तयामि वरानने सागरे वा सरतीरे आतवारे हरालये शक्तिरेवालये गोष्ठे सर्वदेवालये शुभे वचे तदा त्रिमूले वा माते वृन्दावने तथा पवित्रेणे मले स्थाने नित्यानुष्ठानचोऽपि वा निर्विधानेन मौनेन तपामि तं समाचरे शाने वायवमोचु बन्धमूलाञ्चिके तथा सिद्ध्यन्ति दोतरे मूले चित्तवृक्षससानिरो गुरुपुत्रो वरं मूर्खास् तस्य सिद्ध्यन्ति नान्यथा शुभकर्माणि सर्वाणि दीक्षाव्रत तपंसि च संसारमालनाशर्तं भावपाशानिवृत्तये गुरुगीतां त्वयं स एव च गुरुसाक्षात् सदस ब्रह्मविद्यमान् तस्य स्थानानि सर्वाणि पवित्राणि न संशयाः सर्वशुद्ध पवित्रोऽसौ स्वभावाद्यत्र तिष्ठति तत्र देवागणाः सर्वे चैत्रे पीते वसन्ति आसनस्थ शयानो वा कक्षसि संवरानपि आश्वरुद्धो गजारूढः सुप्तो वा जागृतोऽपि वा शुचिस्मप्स सरद्यानि गुरुगीता जपेन च तस्य दर्शनमात्रेण पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते समुद्रे च यथा तोयं क्षीरक्षीरं घृते घृतं बिले कुम्भे यथाकाशास्तथा परमात्मनि अतिद्वद्यानि जीवात्मा परमात्मनि लीयते ऐक्येन रमते ज्ञानी यत्र तत्र हरिवानिशाम् एवं विदो महामुक्तः सर्वरवर्तते बुधा तस्य सर्वप्रयत्नेन भावभक्तिं करोति या सर्वसन्देहरहितो मुक्तो भवति पार्वती भुक्तिमुक्तिद्वयं तस्य दिवाग्रे च सरस्वती अनेनात्र सर्वे गुरुगीता जपेन च सर्वसिद्धिं प्राप्नुवन्ति मुक्तिं न संशयाः सत्यं सत्यं पुनः सत्यं धर्मं सत्यं अयोनितं गुरुगीता समं नास्ति सत्यं सत्यं वरानने एको देव एक धर्म एकनिष्ठा परं तपः गुरुपरतरं नान्यत् नास्ति तद्वं गुरुपरम् माता धन्य पिता धन्य धन्यो वाचा कुलं च धन्य च वसुरा देवी गुरुभक्ति सुदुर्लभा शरीरमेन्द्रियं प्राणस्तर्कस्वजानबन्धवा माता पिता कुलं देवी गुरुरेव न संशयः अकल्पा च मनकोत्य जपा व्रता तपा क्रिया तत्सर्वं सफलं देवी गुरुसन्तोषमात्मचा विद्या चापो बलेनेव मन्दभाग्याश्च ये नराः गुरुसेवां न कुर्वन्ति सत्यं सत्यं वरानने ब्रह्म विष्णु महेशाश्च देवर्षि पितृकिन्नराः सदाचारानयाक्षाश्च अनेपि मुनयो जनाः गुरुभाव परं तीर्थम् अन्यतीर्थं निरर्थकम् सर्वतीर्थाश्रयो देवी पारङ्गुष्ठं च वर्तते अतेन जयमाप्नोति चानन्तफलमाप्नुयात् येन कर्म त्यजन् सर्वान् स्थानानि कर्माणि च अपमेन सनं कुर्वन् येन कर्मफलप्रदम् गुरुगीतां प्रयाणेव सङ्ग्रामेरुपसङ्कटे जपञ्जयमवाप्नोति मारणे मुक्तिदायकम् सर्वकर्म च सावाच गुरुपुत्रस्य सिद्ध्यति इदं नास्य नो वाचं तावग्रे कथितं मया सुगोप्यां च प्रयत्नेन मम त्वं च प्रियात्विति स्वामी मुख्य गणेशादि Vishnavariram cha Parvati Manasapin Vaktavyam Satyam Satyam Vadamyam Ativa Bhagavachitayam Shraddha Bhakti Utaya cha Pravatavyamiram Devi Mama Masi Sada Priye Abhakte Vanchake Durke Bhakane Nastike Nare Manasapina Vaktavya Guru Gita Karakshana Samsara Sagara Samudradane Kamandram Brahmadi Deva Muni Pujita Siddha Mantram Daridra Dukha Bhavaro Kavinasha Mantram Vande Mahabhayara Guru Raja Mantram Iti Shri Skanda Purane Uttarakande Ishvara Parvati Sambhade Guru Gita Samapta Shri Gurudeva Charanar Paramastu Nityanandaya Gurave Shri Satsang Bhaktakaye Kadehaya Namaste Chitsadatmane Nirvasanam Nirakansham Savadosha Vivarjitam Niralamam Nirantankam Nityanandam Namamyam Nirmamam Nirahankaram Samalostashmakanshanam Dhiran Avadutam Namamyam Avinashinamamaram Ekavignaya Tatpata Vitaraga Vayakrodam Nityanandam Namamyam Nam Deho Name Deho Jivonamamichi Eva Vignaya Santushtam Avadutam Namamyam Samasapkalpana Matram Atma Mukta Sanatanam Iti Vignaya Sandruptam Nityanandam Namamyam Yanagniragna Karmanam Amasankalpavarjitam Eyopareyainam Tam Avadutam Namamyam Svabhaveneva yo yogi Sukham bhogam navanshati Yadrishalabha santushtam Nityanandam Namamyam Devaninda prasansabhyam Yasya vikriyate manam Atma kriram atmanam Avadutam Namamyam Nityam jagraravastayam Sagnavadyo vadishtate Nishchitam chinmayam manam Nityanandam Namamyam Dvesham nasti priyam nasti Nasti asya shubha shubham Veradhyana virantam Avadutam Namamyam Ashati no yastu Jagapashanti chinmayam Nitya yuktam gunachitam Nityanandam Namamyam Yogi darshana matrena Bhavate bhuvanatrayam Pavanam jagamam sirtam Avadutam Namamyam Sarva pujyam sarapurnam Akandananda vigram Svaprakasham chiranandam Nityanandam Namamyam Nishkalam nishkriyam shantam Nirmalam paramamritam Ganesha purivasinam Avadutam Namamyam Yoga purnam tapomurtim Prema purnam surarshanam Jnana purnam kripamurtim Nityanandam Namamyam Durjana Sajjana Bhuyat Sajjana bandevyo mukta shanyan vimochaye swasti prajabhya paripalayantam yayena marge namaye maisha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu marjanyan prithvi shashamini desho yamsho varaito brahmana santu nirbhaya sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu niramaya Bhadrani pashyantu ma kashi dukha bhag bhave sarva sharat durgani sarvo bhadrani pashyatu sarva kamara vandotu sarva savatra nandatu swasti matrauta pitreno astu swasti gopyo jagate purushebhya vishvam subhutam suviratram no astu yoge vadrushem asuryam om shanti 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 arati karum sada guru ki karum sada guru ki pyare guru varaki arati karum guru varaki arati karum sada guru ki karum sada guru ki pyare guru varaki arati karum guru varaki jaya guru deva amana vinashi jnana rupa karke vasi jaya guru deva amana vinashi karke vasi bhaga bhaga bharate kirane dinakarati arati karum guru varaki arati karum sada guru ki karum sada guru ki pyare guru varaki arati karum guru varaki जब से शरण तुम्हारी आए आमद से मिले फल पाए जब से शरण आमद से मिले फल पाए शरण तुम्हारे वृक्ष तरवारती आरती करूं गुरुवरकी आरती करूं सद्गुरु की करूं सद्गुरु की प्यारे गुरुवरकी आरती करूं गुरुवरकी ब्रह्म ज्ञान के पूर्ण प्रकाश योग ध्यान के अतल प्रवर्तक ब्रह्म ज्ञान के पूर्ण प्रकाश Vyomatitam Niranjanam Narabindu Kalatitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sadgurunath Maharaj.
Nityanandaya Gurave Shishya Samsara Harine Bhaktakare Kadehaya Namaste Chitsadatmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nishpanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Teyase Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishyavahe Om Shanti 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 Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Good morning and welcome to the continuation of the study of the Upanishads. So exciting. The more I get into it, the more I love it. And I'm sure this one is going to be very special. And I had been thinking, can it happen what happened last month, that in the ocean of words, somehow I was able to find the 3 or 4 words that are the center, the kernel of truth in the Mandukya, which we saw last month. Yes, now I decided for whatever reason to go for the Taittiriya Upanishad. Nothing special because I honestly don't know much about any of this. But I found that in the second chapter, and for those who are interested in reading it in the book, page 541. So the second chapter explains what is Brahman. And here I would say that we have to readjust ourselves to a lot of changes, because for months, if not for years, we've been talking about Shiva. And we got used to call the divine or the power Shiva, and everything else with that vocabulary from the Kashmir Shaivism. So now that is Brahman. And it is funny because there's a truck that the brand is Brahma, and in Argentina there's a beer and the brand is Brahma, and it has a meaning also in Spanish. So to call that Brahma is going to take a little adjustment. And then what it says about the truth of the Taittiriya, it is something that attracts the attention of many intellectual people. So we are in very good company. I'll tell you later in the talk. So the people that are not really into religion, but who find the Upanishad extremely attractive for the purpose of their stories, for the purpose of their life, and for the purpose of their science. It is quite interesting. So what it says here is, first of all, that the word Taittiriya is derived from a bird that is called a partridge, a Taittiriya. It is a small bird, and I don't know, it is said about it that it is in a pair. In Christmas time, the partridge is in a pair. It's not on the Upanishad, but maybe, who knows. So it is Yajnavalkya, the sage, is learning from his guru, but at some point they fight, or at least they have a disagreement, and then Yajnavalkya, so angry, this is a story, I mean, this is how it's told. So he vomits all the knowledge that he had received from his guru, And the students say they realize it's knowledge, so they become partridges. They become these birds, and then they eat the knowledge. So that is why it's called Taittiriya. And it's always not because all of these things at the surface, they have a meaning, and then there's deeper and deeper layers of meanings and of wisdom. So we just have to be open to that. So we go to chapter 2, and then there it explains what this Upanishad is. Very simple words. So what it says is the man, they always say the man, who knows Brahman attains the highest. The man or he who knows Brahman attains the highest. How can this be? How can we know? What does it mean to know? Brahman, what is Brahman? We cannot say who is because it's not a person. What is Brahman? And what is the highest? Why should I be motivated to study so much? What is that highest that is promised in this Upanishad? So what it says is the person who knows Brahman attains the highest, and all of their wishes get fulfilled immediately, instantaneously. All of the wishes get fulfilled instantaneously. This is the promise. So this is exactly the kernel of the Taittiriya. We have to see that we would ask the sage, but how do I describe Brahman, or how I'm going to recognize it when I see it, when I find it? So he says, it has to be known as well as dwelling in the cave of the heart. I know we know those words from Bhagavan's book, the cave of the heart, the sacred cave of the heart. And I think it's a poetic way to say when you know it as yourself, because it's the deeper chamber in the heart where we have to go and find it. And understand that it has 3 characteristics, because they're always given in 3s. So the 3 characteristics is that he is, they say like this, is unlimited, is true, and is wisdom. Is all these 3 things. How are we going to know which is the characteristic that is unlimited? What does it mean? So what it means is that it has no limits. This is the obvious answer, but it goes beyond that. So it is like they say, for example, this is a microphone, and then it has this limit, the limitation of its size, the limitation of where it is located in the space and time, and also the purpose for what it is created. So I have here the different limitations. These are different limitations from the one we learned in Kashmir Shaivism, so just so you know. So it says, the first limitation, and my point in this talk that I've been doing, even I started writing it by hand, because I felt that if I put that extra effort in me, I would be able to understand it better than just typing it. I feel the contact with the paper and the ink. So it has the limitations that we may recognize in ourselves, but in the course of this talk, we are trying to identify ourselves with the no limitation, with the opposite of that. It's very clearly explained, and the thing is that we do it, as the sages say, you do it until your mind that is totally pre-connected to the truth that is known for lives, or if not for lives, at least for this life, then you can break loose of that, which they call here the ego. You break loose of the ego, and then you expand so much that you can Brahman. I cannot say that you can know or you can experience, because we will see that all these words are another type of limitation. This is very subtle and very profound, but also very here, because we are it. We actually are. And the invitation is to experience that we really are that, and identify with the limitations which we don't have. Okay. So the first one is called Desha. Desha is limitation in space. So the limitation in space means that I can be here, you can be here, but cannot be anywhere else. And the things that we see are in a certain place, and in time also they are here now, but they may not have been before, or they probably won't be there later. And a very simple example would be like a cone of ice cream. The ice cream was not there until it was put on the cone. And then it is there for some time, so in the present moment it is there, but not in the future. Therefore, the conclusion of this teaching is it's not eternal. It is temporary. It is created and it will be dissolved, disappear. It is created and we are created. But we are not created. This body only is created. This body is created and we are here in space and time. When we go, consciousness remains. Consciousness remains, and then it expresses itself in other creations, in other people, or in other things. But it's always there. Now the invitation here is, we talk about consciousness, and in English we have this advantage that it has two words at least. One is awareness, and one is consciousness. Many other languages don't. Spanish is the nightmare of a translator. When they say be aware of consciousness, you don't know how to do it. In the process of studying this, I knew that many Indian languages face the same problem. So that which is not conscious and which is intelligent, eternal, has to be called by some name. So we call it Sat. Sat is a Sanskrit name, and we have to stay with it because we don't have the equivalent in other languages. And this explains that. French, Italian, they say it's very difficult. But it doesn't matter because what we are is that. So we are eternal because the essence is there and creation is there. The other comparison that way, maybe this makes it easier to feel, is like humidity. It is one thing to say that something is humid. It is one thing to say that something is not humid, is dry. How long is it humid? But the humidity in itself is not a thing. It is a characteristic, it is a quality, it is a guna. We can try to find, but at the same time, stop the mind from trying to find the word, because what we're trying to get at is to go beyond the gunas and beyond the words, to just experience our eternity, our pervasiveness in all moments, and then instead of saying, for example, oh, there is a drum, say, drum is, chair is, she is, and use is to identify it with the existence. Existence which is not about, again, to ask, why does it exist? Where does it exist? How does it exist? And for what purpose, please, does it exist? Existence is there. When something is not there, existence is, but it's not manifest. When it's manifest, then we see it. So we have to begin in studying this, identify ourselves with that. The limitation then is space. The first one is space, it's called Desha, and we more or less understand what it is. Now, Brahman doesn't have this limitation. When it's all pervasive, when it's everywhere, what happens? There is no place where Brahman is not. I don't know, you remember even in the Christian when they teach you catechism, there is no place where God is not. So it is in the big galaxies and in the smallest hole made with the smallest pin, there is no space where he is not. We try to experience there is no space where I'm not, where I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere, and at the moment that existence is manifesting itself in this form, but this form will not always be here. Existence will continue to create because that is its role. This is when they say the person who knows Brahman isn't the highest because there's no other place. There's only one, and it's the highest. Now, to continue with some more explanation, then there is another limitation, which is the limitation in time. We are here now, but as I was saying, we may have been here before, or will be here in the future, but we may not. And the things that we see may be here, maybe they change the chairs next month, or maybe you give a reference of a bank that is on the corner, and the bank is closed, and they take it away, and then the reference is no longer there. So the thing is to always come back to bank is, chair is, this is there, is existence. We get used to this vocabulary. We're used to it. We practice it all the time. Every time we remember, and then little by little what the sages explain is the mind begins to go from that form of limitation and take the form of the unlimited, which is called anantam. The limitation of time and the limitation of space is easy to understand for us. The third one and last one in this description is the limitation in object, is called vastu. The limitation in object means that this is only a computer and it can be not used for anything else. We cannot drink water in it. We cannot use it to hammer a nail anywhere. No, we cannot use it to cover ourselves from the radiation. We cannot use it to eat it. So they call this vastu, limitation in object. What it means, what it leads us to is this is different from everything else. Of course, you can say is there or they're similars, but we don't go that way. This is different from everything, and there is not another one that is exactly like it. We can tell the differences. But at the same time, we are going to think of Brahman. And Brahman is something that takes the opposite characteristics. Brahman, there's nothing that is different from Brahman. The objects, there's nothing that is similar to them because they are all different manifestation of that power of existence. And Brahman, there's only one thing, there's only one Brahman. There is no other where it is not. There is not anything that it is not. There is not a time where it is not. And there is not a space where it's not pervaded by Brahman. This is the explanation that they do. They give, and what they say is, the more you go into that, you call it a well maybe, or a swimming pool, you go, and every time you get more wet and more imbibing that knowledge until it's you. And when it is there, then you even wonder, how did you ever thought and perceive the world in a different way so limited? Like they say, when you wake up from a bad dream, and you even sweating because the body reacts to the essence of the dream. You dream that a tiger is following you and it's about you see his teeth here. And suddenly you wake up, oh, how could I, you know? So he says, when you wake up from this Maya, you will not probably even remember how limited you were. So it says, do it, do it. It's the only thing we have to do. So these are the three limitations, and then when he describes Brahman, it also says that it is Satyam, so which is true. Now, what is the description of truth that we have learned here? It is something that was, is, and will always be without changing. So whatever changes is not considered by Vedanta as true. It is temporary, therefore it is an illusion. And one may say, okay, well, this to me feels very solid. No? Solid. How can you tell me that this is an illusion? The illusion is that it is not eternal. It is a creation. It is a product of existence. So the invitation is always to go back to that what we always are at all times, in all places, in all circumstances, and surrounded by any kind of object. It's all on the page 541. In case you want to, I really had to sit down and contemplate it, but it is true. It is true that when we forget our limitations, and for example, in extreme joy, in extreme sadness, in extreme anger, and extreme sensation, we break free from the mind. Then we even see colors. It says, I saw red, I saw blue, I saw white, the white light of, the self. All of these things are what makes it very interesting. And it says here, let's not stay there in the limitation. Now, regarding the body, that is what we know better, our own person and the person that surrounds us, but it also can be applied to nature, to even a rock. I don't know, you must have heard this word koshas, which are supposedly the body is formed of 5 koshas, of 5 sheets, of 5 layers. And you can go as deep as you want to studying this. But this is what they give us as a tool to once and for all confirm that we are not eternal in this body, in this form. The form is temporary. The first one of which is called Anamaya Kosha, and it means it is a sheet formed of bones, blood, and everything what the body contains, but it's made from food. So we eat and we grow, and we know very well a baby grows because of the food. So Ana means food, Maya means made of, and it is the body. And it invites you to go am I eternal? Is my body the same every day? People who practice Hatha Yoga have a saying that I've heard where it says the exercise or the form is never the same because the asana or the mat is not the same, much less the person is never the same. You will find that some postures are easier one day, and you would expect that the following day would be easier thanks to the practice, and not always. Sometimes you're just so stiff. So this example is the body is not always the same. Sometimes it feels heavy, sometimes it feels light. Sometimes it is hungry, sometimes it is full. Sometimes it is sleepy, sometimes it is out. So it invites us to go contemplating these things. And it is I love now when they send me on an errand driving, because the whole time I'm contemplating all these things, because it says once you break free of that limitation of the mind, of the ego, then you will experience this at all times. So this is the first kosha. Then there is the second one, which is energetic. It's called prana. Prana is not only the air that we breathe, it's the air that moves inside the body, and it takes so many aspects and causes so many actions. You know, as one is for inhalation, one is for exhalation, one is for the digestion, one is for the brain. There are some for exertion, for when you go to the bathroom. And so the air is what really moves our body inside. It's not air from outside, it's air from inside. And they even have names for that too, because it's called Gata is inside, okay? Akasha. So there's Akasha inside of the body, and there's Akasha outside of the body. But what they tell you is it's the same space. It may be different air, but the space is the same. There is no separation between the space inside and the space outside. Okay, so it's the same thing. The second one is called, as I said, Pranamaya Kosha, and it sustains the body, and it also has to do with how we feel tired, etc. Many times, you're nervous, for example, and then you breathe, you take 2 deep breaths, and tranquilo, no? Then you can run, and then you want to re-stabilize your circulation or your breathing, and you can do it managing the prana. So pranayama, those exercises we learn to use that wonderful tool, which is free, and it's always there for us. And then they say the mental one, because mana means mind. So mana maya kosha is the sheet that is made of mind. This one is for the thoughts and emotions. So the thoughts, and the question here is, do we know that the mind changes? And the answer is, boy, does it change. Because one moment you're thinking something positive, then something negative, then you're not thinking anything, making big plans, and thinking that the plans may not come to fruition. And then, should I go out? No, they said it's going to rain, but what is it? So the mind is never stopping. And we are fortunate to practice meditation because we have a way of more or less make it subside. So that is the mental, the invitation, again, going back to the Upanishad, invites us to always be contemplating. Instead of see, this is like going to the third step in a ladder. The lower is when we think. We don't realize that we are thinking, and we follow, like a sheep follows the shepherd, what the mind says. Like the man is my master and I'm the slave. Okay, it's the lowest. Then there is, like, you see the first step on the ladder, and then we watch or witness our mind, which is already great progress. And we must be used to doing it, because this is, everybody talks about the witness. So we go, oh, my mind is so agitated, but tranquila, I don't need to follow what my mind thinks. I don't need to follow what I think other person wants me to do, may not even be true. I don't have to believe what I saw on television, may not even be true. Why should? And then there's like a higher point of living already in being able to witnessing the mind. But this one is like you go on the second step, because you are aware of how this consciousness is contemplating and witnessing the mind. So you are thinking, oh, it is contemplating that the mind is agitated. And this one knows. Then who is it that is watching? It's like, who is this new person here? This is Brahman. This is the consciousness. So it invites us at all time to always be contemplating. It says, don't waste time. Don't waste time following your mind. Understand the mind and move away from it. And the way we are, then we start seeing it differently. The guru of Vedanta, which is Swami Vivekananda, he would always tell before he started his talks, oh, my brothers and sisters, if you could only see yourself the way you are, if you can see children of bliss, he used to call it children of divine bliss. So this is how he saw himself, and this is how he saw everybody, and he invited people to get out of that limitation and get free. Then there's two more. And this, I know when you study these things, it appears repetitive, but it's not. It's good, because then we have five fingers in each hand, 5 tools to always be contemplating who we really are. So it says here, wisdom is called Vijnana, Maya, Kosha. It is a she that is made of wisdom, of knowledge. But it's knowledge of a higher kind. It's not jnana, it's vijnana. It's more than just knowing. It is one thing to read the book, and it is one very different to understand it, and much more different to imbibe it. And they always talk about these three. They say the same way, I don't want to get distracted. They say the same way that you eat and you chew your food, enjoy it. This is like the lowest. And it's not lowest in a bad sense, it's just the basic primary function. And then you digest it. And then the body takes the nutrition from those components. So in the same way, it says you can hear the teaching, then you can understand it, and then you can make it yours, imbibe it, no? So this wisdom is understanding the witness. This is how they describe it. Understanding that there is a witness, and at all times, for now, identify ourselves with the witness. Later on, not even the witness. Witness is just one result of the action. And they say, any action, anything that happens so that we think that we may happen, is just two things. It's consciousness and an object. So our consciousness, when it's limited, chooses, or looks for, rather, identify itself with something. The usual reaction of the ego is mine or is not mine. If it's not mine, I want it. If it's mine, I want another model. Somebody's going to take it away from me, and all these things that come from identifying that consciousness that is pure with an object. It's never neutral. It's never neutral. It's always charged with desires, wishes, wanting to possess it, etc. So as we know. And the last one is called bliss, Ananda, Maya, Kosha. So it says, this is the experience that we get in meditation or abstraction when you're totally into a tool, into an activity like sports, or you're studying very deeply, intensely, or you are like practicing some type of meditation that is different. You basically, studying, listening to somebody. Sometimes you are listening with great attention, and you are totally abstracted in it. So it says abstraction, meditation, even kirtan. So it's true. When you're doing kirtan, sometimes your mind is just so expanded. All these experiences go from the grossest to the subtlest, from the grossest to the subtlest. So this is the teaching. There are three ways of hearing the teachings, we know that. One is to listen, one is to understand it, and one to make it yours. The usual, in the beginning, this is the usual to do it. But what he explains here, when you're used to it, then you just hear it once and it's yours. Because the mind becomes purer. And purer not in the sense that it is impure or that it has purer thoughts, is that it has no thoughts, is that it's totally identified with this. So here explains that, and then the promise that it makes when we do all that is called dukkha nivriti anandam prapti, which means the attainment of the highest joy, and elimination of suffering, and attainment of the highest joy. And how can that be? When we are in that Brahma consciousness, where it says, is you understand that life is just a consequence of your consciousness attaching itself to an object. If we can only see this, then that is what that makes you see that things are not happening, that they don't happen outside you, that they don't happen independently, but it's always my consciousness, the way it reacts to a determined object. So it says here, there are 5 koshas or sheets in which the self is manifested as the ego or the jivatman. The first of them is food, others sheets is prana, life, etc. And all of this, the knower of the subject knows that when it is associated with an object, then you are always the witness. So it's like a habit of becoming always the witness. There is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says, knowledge, because the Bhagavad Gita, I found something now that it is full of quotes from the Upanishad. I don't know who wrote it, how, but it is. And then it caught my attention because I get in my email every day one quote, and this one says, knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. These are the 3 factors that induce action. So knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. Induce action, so drive us to action, invites us to action, cause us to want action. The instrument of action, the act itself, and the doer. So the instrument of the action, what is happening, and we identify with the doer, with the one who is doing it. And this is where karma is created. If we don't identify ourselves with the doer, then there's no karma, because there is no doer. It's just like it happens, but we don't identify with it. There are some people that are studying Vedanta, actually non-dual Vedanta, and I thought it interesting because I tried to find some quotes from new people, not from the Swamis, but from the modern scientists. And there's something that you might know who that is. It's called Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI, so he's artificial intelligence. He's one of the most important people in that area, and he works with Elon Musk. So he tweeted when he started his company, and he says, ask me any kind of questions, and I promise that I will answer them, not the artificial intelligence. So I will answer. So the question that was presented to him, and I'm sure people have thought about making intelligent questions, because you cannot just, what is your zodiac sign, no? So they asking, do you believe in anything that is not easily understood by the majority of people? Do you have a belief in anything that for the rest of the mortals is not very easy to understand? What could that be? And you know, you won't believe it, he responded, Atman is Brahman. So what this means is that the kernel of Advaita Vedanta has a very high place in the minds of many intellectual people. Nobel Prizes, people like that, which is interesting because the people that usually are against religion, but they have no problem accepting this. Then there is somebody called Dr. Chidambaram, which is the science advisor to the Prime Minister of India, and he's the main student and about the uses of atomic energy. And then they also ask him, do you believe in anything, or what is your life, what is the center, what guides it to do all this research, and what do you expect to find, really? Because he goes, beyond the atom, beyond everything, really. I cannot even imagine what it is. And he said these words, personally, I believe in Advaita Vedanta. So all of these shows us that we're studying in very good company, the company of very intelligent people. And then I have spoken here also about David Chalmers, who coined the term, the hard problem of consciousness, because he said many people, scientists even, they think that the brain creates consciousness, that you create the sense of knowing from the brain. But no, we are in that ocean of consciousness, the brain included. And then it's just like the functioning of these things, but consciousness is always there. So, surprise, he's got a job. And the job is in the NYU, which is the University of New York, and he has the Center for Mind, Brain, and Consciousness. So already the university is studying these connections between mind, brain, and consciousness. And I share this because this may seem abstract, but when you start to practice it, then you see the reality of being there. And finally, Sam Harris, who is not only a great neurophysicist, but also one of the most famous atheist people. They're totally against God, religion, and everything. And then he says, Advaita Vedanta has a core of truth that cannot be denied. Advaita Vedanta has a kernel of truth that cannot be denied. So the invitation here would be to go to the book, study, contemplate, practice, because it gives you the tools to practice. And remember that we have, in everything we do, that presence of Brahman. I have been surprised when I do the chant every day, the evening arati, the word Brahman appears so many times. In all the chants it's there. And actually the invocation that we did, right now, I'm just going to show you so you see this. When it says, one second, please. Okay. Saha now Vavatu. May he protect us. So it's something we change every day. But I consider important that we know what we're chanting. Not just chanting, but knowing the depths and go into those depths. Okay, what is meant by this? Why do I am fortunate to repeat it every day. Let me know what I'm chanting. So it says, Hanau Bhavatu, may he protect us. Protect us from what? From the limitation of the mind, really, because the source of the ignorance and the source of suffering many times is in the mind. I'm not going to say everything because there are tragedies and there's illnesses and things, but basically how we interpret this. And then the next one says, Sahanao Munaktu, which meant, may he be pleased with us both. Both? Who is both? There's no both, there's just Brahman, Advaita. Saha Viryam Karava Vahai. So means, may we work together with vigor. It gives you vigor when you study these things. It makes you aware of all the enormous potential that is there in the self. Then it says, Tejas Vinau Adita Mastu, which means, may our study make us illumined. So we chant this before studying so that the mind is expanded, the mind is free, and when we hear or read and learn and then imbibe these teachings, we can put it to a practical use in our lives, creating like I would say, a work of art out of life. And then it says, Ma Vidvisha Bahai, which means may there be no dislike between us. So that we accept it because in the end it's just one, which takes different forms according to what? To the object that we realize, or that we make a connection with the object, then that is the action that ensues. So that's why we say, Ma Vivishaivahi, may there be no dislike between us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So peace, peace, peace. This is what it says. So this is the four words that the Taittiriya explains, and it's only the promise that this says Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramana. The root text of Vedanta, is the Upanishad. So we have to only study Upanishad to know the whole of, because some of the part of the Taittiriya, but there's no time to do it, it's only about food, about the things we eat, how we eat them, what type of thought was into it, and the type of world that it envisions regarding the mere act of nourishing ourselves and others. So all that is a chapter. Then Ananda, the bliss, the highest bliss, is another complete chapter. And I wish there was more time because it's really wonderful. But the book is there, we go there, and then we drink from it and learn more. So, and then it says, at the end of your study, you get what you already have, and what you do not have is taken away from you. So it says, you get what you already have, and what you do not have is taken away from you. So it's like, I think that we're covered with many veils, and then the veils disappear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, by identifying ourselves with Brahman, and being aware that this is a different vocabulary because we are conditioned in the mind to think that God is Sat, Chit, Ananda, which is bliss. No, this one is Sat, Chit, Ananta, which is unlimited. That doesn't have any endings because it's not being created, because it won't be dissolved, because it is always there forever. And also, it doesn't mean that it existed for a long time, because eternal can be a very, very long time, or can be a very, very short time. It's no time. It exists in the no time, in the absence of time. So, I mean, I find it fascinating. I hope that it was interesting for you. And the book is there. We have it in the gift shop. You can come and buy it. It's excellent. It's explained in very clear English, to my surprise. So we can understand it and then maybe make notes, take notes, share with each other all this knowledge. How do you perceive it, etc. And in that way, raise our frequency by reading and learning the highest of the teachings. Well, thank you for listening. I can feel the attention, and let's continue with the program. Okay.
माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव दुराकरो दुःखदारसभा दया करो भगवान मना मंदिर में उज्ज्वलो तेरा निर्मल ज्ञान जिस घर में हो आरती चरण कमल चितला चाहन हरि वास करे ज्योतानंत जगाए जहाँ भक्त कीर्तन करे बाहे प्रेम दरिया चाहन हरि श्रवण करे सत्य लोक से आए सब कुछ दिया आपने बेंत करुण्यानाथ नमस्कार की बेंत करूं जोड़ में दोनों हाथ नमस्कार की बेंत करूं जोड़ में दोनों हाथ ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय परे समेद्यसे सनोवशून्यवरा संघचध्वं संवदध्वं सम्भो मनां सिजानथं देवागम्यता पूर्वे संजानना उपासते समानो मंत्र समिति समाने समानं मना सचित्तमेषां समानं मन्त्रमविमन्त्रये समानेन वो हविषा जुहोमि समाने व कूति समाना हृदयानि वा समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वासु सहसति हरि ओम ओम यो शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोपदयः शान्ति वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वगुण शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि यतो यतः समीहसे ततो नो अभयं कुरु शन्नः कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयं नः पशुभ्यः ॐ शान्ति 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 सुशान्तिर्भवतु सर्वारिष्ट सर्वोपद्रवः शान्तिरस्तु सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
So this concludes our Sunday morning satsang. Thank you all for joining us. And it's wonderful because each month we don't know which speaker is going to speak on which Upanishad. So it's kind of like the pick of the draw, or like a surprise gift each time they speak something. So we've covered, I think, we've heard about the Tandogya, we've heard about the Mandukya, and now today we heard about the Tattatriya. So we're moving right along with our subject of the year. And thank you, Nityeshwari, for your wonderful offering. And it's always wonderful because each speaker has their own study that and their own contemplation and their own pondering that they bring. And with each speaker comes a different perspective, a different perception. And it's fortunate for all of us because we get to explore each aspect of that and see for us what resonates and what remains. And when Nityeshwari said the thing about chair is, microphone is, Peter is, Ingrid is, and I'm looking at, I'm going, it's a great thing to hold on. So as we move about our daily lives and as we continue integrating the teachings, it's a wonderful expression and a means, Rupaya, a means of how we can take it forward. So let us continue to do that with our weeks as we move through each day, each hour, each moment, and give ourselves also the time afterwards to ponder over it, to reflect upon it, to meditate upon it, and to contemplate it so that we can see, what did I remember? What did I pick up? What did I imbibe? What did I embrace from that particular talk, offering, or sharing? So, and we can continue to do that also in our home spaces, and just sit with it and allow the knowledge of the sages, the knowledge, the truth, all that we learn about in satsang, to be able to really feel that we have it somehow closer and more in proximity versus at a distance. So I think that really, it breaches the gap and it makes it more intimate, and it's something that then we're just filled with such gratitude and such appreciation every day for our existence of ourselves, but also of everybody else around us, and appreciation for one another, company, presence, and the universe that has been so kind to us to give us residence here. So with that being said, next week we have Larry Holmes, who will be back in residence, and he'll be sharing with us, and we'll see which Upanishad he brings forward, which one he expounds upon. And And then we'll continue with another video at the end of the month. And as we move into the month of March, we'll have Nityeshwari, Dana, and Larry. So we'll have 3 different Upanishads represented. And then we'll have 2 videos, one of Baba Muktananda and one of Gurudev. So, and we also have the celebration of Shivaratri, which will be on March 8th. So everybody keep that in mind. And that will also be available to our global audience as well. That'll be with Prabal and Govind offering the Shivaratri Puja. So we have a lot coming up, and then right around the corner is already April, and then we'll have Gurudev in residence, and we'll be moving very swiftly in Satsang and swiftly in the ashram for the months of April, May, and June. So today our lunch prasad down there is something interesting. It's masala potato toasted sandwiches, so it's something different from our regular, and a lovely salad. So enjoy today's lunch prasad. Before that, you can come up for darshan, and we'll see you all next Sunday. And for those of you who are honoring Super Bowl Sunday, enjoy the game. Sadhgurunad Maharaj Ki Jai.